Welcome to the Psychic Pinup Podcast, the anything and everything spiritual podcast where we dive into hot topics, readings, viewer questions, and more. Thank you for tuning in. Now, sit back, relax, and let's dive right into it.
Welcome to the Anything and Everything Spiritual Podcast. I'm your host, Linda, the Psychic Pinup. I'm a psychic and I'm a medium. I'm based here in Wollongong, New South Wales, which is about 1 hour south of Sydney in Australia. And I'm here to share with you my experiences and my journey as a psychic and a medium. What I did before I was a medium, how I got to being a medium, and what I'm doing now working as a medium. So welcome everybody. So here we are again. And I say that with tongue in cheek and a big smile on my face. As many of you know, I started this podcast a number of years ago, and I had a handful of episodes under my belt. And then, as you know, if you go back and listen to previous episodes, there's the story is there, what's happened. And then I started it up again the end of last year. And again, if you could see me right now with this big smile on my face, you're thinking, yes, that's typical Linda again. We know how she rolls. We know what she's like, which leads me down to today's topic. And I would like to speak to you about something that I consider quite important, and it's of relevance to what I was just talking about with my previous podcasts. And I know that it affects all of us at some point. Don't lie, don't deny. I want to bring up the big word procrastination. That's right. Procrastination. We are all guilty of it. And if we weren't, we would not be human. I have to ask you, if you've been putting off your dreams, your projects, or even simple tasks, let's talk about it. You're not a failure. You're not lazy. There's a reason for it. And again, this is what I love about podcasting. It's just pulling back layers and understand everything that I talk about is in my opinion. There's no right, there's no wrong. But why do we procrastinate? Why? Even as I sit here and talk and do this podcast, I have 1,001 things running through my head at once. I'm even finding myself getting distracted and thinking, oh, let me check my emails. Oh, have I got any messages? This is all procrastination. And again, I keep asking myself, why? I'm not lazy in any way whatsoever. And the people that know me know that I'm not lazy. So that's why I will say I don't believe procrastination is a form of laziness. There has to be a deeper root cause to this. And the more I think about it, the more I start to go down the rabbit holes of, is it something spiritual? I know a lot of people will be saying procrastination is a sign of fear, of failure, or maybe even perfection can make us freeze rather than act. Now that I know I am guilty of. I have so many ideas going through my head and how I would like to execute them, to the point where I will shut down because it's overwhelming. hence the procrastination. But again, I'm going to go back and say, the more I think about it, sometimes also it may be the spirit or the universe holding us back or protecting us because things are not in alignment yet. And I use the word yet. Hear me out on this one. I would like to share with you a little story about, well, it's not really a story. It's just something that's currently happening with me at the moment. And I'm forever planning ahead, months in advance, of expos, shows, where I'm going to be, what travel I'm going to be doing, where I'm going to be staying, etc., etc. There is one expo that I have been booked into, but I have not paid any money on it yet. And I say yet, again, the word yet. For the life of me, I cannot understand why I have not gone and done that. I'm pretty diligent with my paperwork, paying things, being very organised, but for this particular expo, I just can't do it. I physically can't make myself pay for this expo yet. Now, why is that? Yes, that's procrastination. But I will go back and say, I'm not lazy. I feel the universe is telling me that it is not aligning with me. And that is why I am procrastinating about paying and moving forward and locking myself in to this expo. Why? I don't know. All I know is I need to trust. Trust the universe. Trust those feelings. It's interesting, isn't it? So I will challenge you, next time you are procrastinating and you know you're not lazy, you know there is no fear there or fear of failure, ask yourself why. Why is it not aligning with you? There is a reason for that. And start listening to your intuition. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. I'd love to hear your stories too. Send me some examples of what you've been procrastinating on. And in particular, I will challenge you also, in particular, to things that you've procrastinated on only to find out later why. Let me know. Drop me a line at my email, hello@thepsychicpinup.com.au. I'd love to hear from you. And now I'm just going to do a complete 180 and go on the flip side and talk about the fear. I know that some of you procrastinate purely because of fear of failure. So how do we overcome that? I mean, from a very young age, it's bred into us. We're not good enough. Why would you want to do that? Don't be silly. And just why? And then we start to question ourselves and question our abilities. Hence, the fear is born out of that. So we procrastinate. I've been there. I've done it. I've got the t-shirt too. And it's only because of all this work that I have done on myself over the last 5-6 years as a developing psychic and medium that I can see things from another perspective. And it breaks my heart when I do private readings for people And I see this in them time and time again. For me, I see it as simple, just do it. But it's not that easy for a lot of people. And that's okay. Everything's in baby steps. So my advice for those who do sit in that space of fear of failure, is to just start. Just start. You don't have to do a whole heap of things or carry out a whole task all at once. But just starting is something. Starting in baby steps is better than sitting still. Start before you even feel ready to start. I can guarantee you that first little baby step that you do, the universe will meet you halfway. And then another step, and the universe meets you again, and again, and again. Understand it will create a momentum, and the momentum will create the flow. Trust me with this. I've just done the exact same thing with this podcast. I turned on record. I had no idea what I was going to say, and I just took little tiny baby steps, and now it is flowing. Trust the inspiration that comes to you. The more you trust, the more movement, and not just the thought. So now I'm going to go down a real spiritual road with this, with procrastination. And to go one step further, I would encourage you to meditate on why you are procrastinating. Write down your thoughts. When you meditate, you are connecting in with your team, your spirit guides, your ancestors, your loved ones. They want nothing but the best for you. They are here to guide you. They are here to help you. And that's why I would encourage you to speak to them. Maybe even try to change your perspective on how you view things. Treat all these things that you are procrastinating on as an alignment rather than an obligation. A lot of times people will procrastinate because it's an obligation in their mind. I'm obligated to clean the house. I'm obligated to wash the car. I'm obligated to finish that essay, that paper. I'm obligated to pay my bills. What if we looked at it from an act of alignment? I'm aligning to clean my house. I'm aligning to clean the car. I'm in alignment for this paper that I need to write. I'm in alignment with my money and my bills. That just seems to flow a little bit easier in my mind. It just seems to go. And I guess that's all about learning to change your perspective, or how you view things. About flow. It's all about flow. So here's my challenge for you. I want you to pick one thing, just one thing that you've been putting off, and take action on it today. Not tomorrow, not next week. Even if it's small, just start. The energy will shift. I can guarantee you will feel the difference. It does not have to be much, just something to move the energy around you. And my goodness, did I just do that? I've been putting off more podcast episodes because I want perfection. It's not from the fear of failure. I just want it to be good. And I've realised it doesn't happen. So I've just shifted my energy and little tiny baby steps. That's what I've done today, baby steps. And before I knew it, here I am. Another episode of my podcast, the Anything and Everything Spiritual Podcast. Trust, everything happens for a reason. Everything. So thank you everybody for joining me on this podcast about procrastination. I'm guilty of it too, so don't think that you're the only one. We're all human. We're all in this together. And I think that will wrap up this episode. Thank you for joining me. I look forward to catching up with you all real soon. And no more procrastination, I promise. See you soon.
You have been listening to Linda, the Psychic Pinup. Linda is a psychic medium based on the New South Wales south coast of Australia. You can connect with her via her website, thepsychicpinup.com.au, or join her on her weekly live feeds on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, all under the same name, The Psychic Pinup. Thanks for listening.